Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. This week's video is full of projects, time in the garden, more preservation, and some Shabbat fun. If any of those things sound interesting to you, stay tuned. Hi, my name is Sonia. I'm a homeschooling, homesteading, spirit-filled Torah-keeping mother of 10, and you are watching IHN Homestead. Colossians 3:17 states, "And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God and the Father by him." The kids and I are working together and we are building a cat box. This cat box will contain all of our little kittens' litter box. And this way I can try to keep Norman out because for some reason a litter box is so enticing to a 1-year-old. Not sure why, but it is. And I do not want him, of course, getting into a litter box. So we purchased this little cat box on Amazon and I had the children help me. I decided that Mary and Peter, they could help me and learn to follow these directions. These directions, of course, were all done in picture format. So they had to be able to pay attention to the details of the pictures that they were seeing to know which direction things needed to go and what pieces needed to go where. And this also tried some patience, especially when something didn't go together properly and we'd have to start apart all over again. But I'll be honest when I say I don't think it was the children that were needing the lesson on patience. I think it was more of myself because I had Norman, as you saw earlier in the video. He really wanted to be a part of every aspect of this project and was crawling on everything, trying to crawl in everything, and so on and so forth. But I gave turns for both Mary and Peter so that they could help do different parts of the project. And as you can see, the kittens are already enjoying their new box. But I really liked this because I've never liked the way kitty litter boxes look. And I thought we should hide it. We should do something special and hide it and make it look kind of pretty. And this does. It makes it look really pretty because you don't even think, oh no, that is exactly what I don't want Norman to do, is crawl inside there. So that entry is how the kittens get in, and they go around to that back over there to get to their litter box. And so definitely not where I want Norman to be crawling, but we were really hoping this would work. And thus far, it has actually worked really well. So the area that I want to put the litter box is right in it's kind of in my living room, off to the side of my living room in the hallway closet area for when people first walk in. And you would think, oh, that would be terrible, because everybody could smell it. But I got this new cat litter. It's actually used or made with, I think it says like walnut husks. And it really does a great job at keeping the smell down. It's something I had found on Amazon. And then I also put a essential oil diffuser on top of it, and I looked up some essential oils that were safe to use, with cats being inside. So we did all that, but right now I'm just trying to clean the area out that I want it, and we are going to start bringing things in and putting things together, and we are going to see how it works out. I'm one of those people, though, that when I see a mess, I have to clean it. Hence why I pulled the rug bag back and swept under the rug. And then when I went to put the box there, I noticed the wall was dirty, so I had to wipe down the wall. But that's just kind of how my brain works. Everything has to look pretty and new when we're putting something together. So the kids are bringing the kittens over so they could see that their litter box is now in a new spot. My kids put some goldenrod in a vase right there under the window. We brought one of our trees over and put it next to it. I really like those front doors because it has a latch in the front and it works really well. And here is our kitten, Sarah. I named her Sarah because of the black marks on her face. It reminded me of a princess wearing makeup. And I believe the name Sarah means a princess. And so that is why she got the name that she got, and she is already enjoying her litter box. But that's what it looks like, and I think it turned out really well, and so far it has been working out great. Later on this week, we went to the garden to pick some tomatoes, and my tomatoes were looking so wild, and I mean they were everywhere. They had shoots going up everywhere. all through the rows, and it literally looked like a jungle mess when we were trying to get through the rows to get the tomatoes. But it did not stop Miss Rebecca. She was having a blast going through the rows of crazy tomatoes and picking all the tomatoes that she could find, even the ones that were not fully ripe. And we got a decent amount, and I was pretty pleased with what we got from it. But we pick the ones that aren't fully ripe only if they have splits in them or they're starting to split. As you can see, some of them that I put in there, they had splits. And that way, what we'll do is we'll just put them in our window facing the south that we have at home, and it gets beautiful sun all the time. And we'll let them finish ripening in the window at the house. And then depending on the amount of tomatoes that we get, we will slice them up and use them as a side dish for our lunches. So kids really like having sliced tomatoes with salt and maybe some pepper on them. And then again, if we don't have a whole lot, enough for canning or something, what we'll do is we'll add them to soups, or I will add them to stir fries, maybe with some eggs or other vegetables. Tomatoes just add a lovely flavor. And I do also really enjoy all the different colors as well when I'm doing all my cooking. And then here's Norman. Every time we go to the garden, he heads straight for the peppers. Thankfully, the first couple rows that he gets to are just the banana peppers and the green peppers. The jalapenos are on the other side. And here are the cabbages. They're looking absolutely beautiful. And I'm probably going to be picking these next week, just so I can get them out of the garden. And we'll probably be making sauerkraut out of the majority of these. Not sure yet, but probably. So then we decided to start picking our squashes. We had some squashes that were ready to be picked. They're, oh, what do you want to call it? I'm going to have a brain fart now. It's like this little vine that comes off the main vine. And when that little vine dies down, it's supposed to be a sign that the squash has fully ripened, especially, and that's how I checked all my watermelons, and it worked out great this year. I waited for those, tendrils. I waited for those little tendrils to fully die back before I picked my watermelons, and every time we had a wonderful watermelon. I think these are those big banana type squashes that you see Miss Emily picking up. She was very proud of herself. She carried that big old thing across the garden. And then we had some little pie pumpkins ready, and these kids were just having, especially little girls, were just having a blast in the garden, finding all the little treats and little surprises of all the squashes. We even got a couple trombone squash. And so we're going to take these home, and we are going to put them on our front porch and let them finish curing. But before we left, I decided to take a knife, and if you notice, the rows of tomatoes look a lot cleaner. I decided to top all my tomatoes, and I cut off everything that was trellising out in hopes that it would give me a better yield and a better production. Back at the house, we started cleaning up and getting some jars wiped down and labeled so that we could put them down in the basement. I don't always get my jars down to the basement, after that first initial 24 hours. Sometimes I forget about it, or sometimes I get busy and I think of other things, and so I don't get to things right away. And then I realize, I need to start another canning project. I need to get this stuff out of the way so that we have more room to work. And these were those green beans and different things from last week that I hadn't gotten down to the basement yet. So just getting them all labeled so that we can put them down in the cellar for the winter. And eventually what I'll do when I don't ever really get done canning for the season, but I will eventually look downstairs and take a slight inventory to get a rough idea of everything that I have down there and see if there's anything else that I want to do or want to make sure that I have down there before we really get into those cold winter months. And next, we are getting started on our next canning project. I am making one of my favorite recipes with tomatoes, and that is spaghetti sauce. I found a spaghetti sauce recipe a couple years ago that everyone in my family really, really enjoyed. Even my husband asked me about it saying that he really liked my spaghetti sauce. It has a kind of a spicier almost flavor, more hearty flavor. And there's sugar in it too, but I don't know. It just, the blend of flavors works really, really well. And so here are Mary and Peter. They are at it again, and they are going to be helping me dice up 50 pounds of cut tomatoes. 50 pounds of tomatoes. And I'm really hoping that it fits in my large roaster, because in years past, I've had to always cut it down in half. Well, it kind of fit. It's a little overflowing, but I cooked it down in my roaster between 180, sometimes up to 225, and I did it for 24 hours, and that's what it looked like after the 24 hours that I had allowed it to cook down. And this is my little green book. This little book has my spaghetti sauce recipe in it, and I'm so proud of myself that I have not lost this book over the years. And there's my recipe, and we are going to get started. Now, if I would have thought about it, I probably should have let my tomatoes cook down just a few hours or maybe a whole nother day longer, because that pan was still absolutely filled to the top and I had a bunch of stuff to add to it. And so here is the recipe on how I do it. There was probably a couple things like tomato paste and stuff that I don't add to the recipes if they call for it. But anyways, so we started off with the 50 pounds of tomatoes. Sorry, Mary brought me in some herbs from the garden to add to that night's dinner. Anyways, so 50 pounds of those cut tomatoes, and we let them cook down for 24 hours in the roasting pan. And then we had to do 10 peppers total. The recipe called for 8 red peppers and 2 green peppers. Well, I had more green peppers than red peppers, so as long as you have 8 peppers, decent size, it works. And I got tired of cutting on the cutting board, so I started using my hands. But anyways, and then it wants 10 onions chopped up. Well, I just quarter mine or half it. These onions were really, really big, and after I let it cook down, they'll be soft enough to blend over. Then I added half a cup of soy sauce, 6 tablespoons of Worcestershire, Worcestershire, that word, 1.3 cups of brown sugar. I just did a little over a cup of regular sugar, then I added some molasses. We needed to add half a cup of salt, 20 garlic cloves, which I didn't quite have 20, but I put garlic in there, 6 tablespoons of oregano, 6 tablespoons of basil, 4 teaspoons of red pepper flakes, and 4 bay leaves. You guys, this thing was so full, and I really had to take my time and kind of mixing this up and trying to push some of those things down to the bottom of the pan, and I made a mess. But that's okay. Sometimes messes in the kitchen are fun. This one wasn't fun, but whew, it was full. So I put the lid on, but I put it on to where it was cracked, because if I actually put it on, it would have just started going everywhere again. And I let it cook down for another 24 hours. So this is day 2 from when I started it. You guys, it smelled very good, and I was getting very excited. So the next part of my project then is to get my handy dandy little apron on so I don't make a mess all over myself, get my immersion blender out. But first, oh yes, I have to find the bay leaves. And I actually only found, I think, 3 of my 4 bay leaves. I was kind of hoping that when I started immersion blending it, it would have emerged from the sauce, but nope, it didn't. So I have a bay leaf in there all blended up somewhere. That's okay though. Not a big deal. No one's going to notice. But it took me a while to get all this blended to try to get as many chunks out as possible. But then I thought to myself, they have chunky spaghetti sauce in the store. It's really not that bad. So I wasn't too worried about it and just did what I was able to do. And now we're going to get these all into jars so that I can get them in the canner. I ended up with 18.5 quart jars of spaghetti sauce, and I was bummed. I was hoping to get a full load between my 2 canners, my regular 7-quart canner and then my All-American canner that holds the 14 quarts. So what I did was I decided to get out some extra tomatoes that didn't go into that spaghetti sauce, and I decided to just dice them up and add them to that half jar of spaghetti sauce that you see there on the counter. I figured extra tomatoes, it wasn't going to hurt anything, and then that way I could use up all the space in my canner and not have to add jars of water or something to take up that space. I have found that when you add the extra jars of water, I don't know, it just kind of helps everything can better than when you leave a lot of open space in the canner. And I know there's some science behind that. I don't know what it is at this point in time. It's something I'd have to look up. But I just know that it is something that they do recommend you doing. And so I did. But I did it with tomatoes. And then my last 2 jars, I just added, again, just cut tomatoes, and I got them all filled up. So that way when I did, again, all my canning, I would have a full 21 jars. And when I buy spaghetti sauce from the store, I don't ever just use that spaghetti sauce. I buy spaghetti sauce, but I also would buy cans of diced tomatoes or pureed tomatoes, and I would always add that to my sauces. And then sometimes I would add maybe a little bit of sugar to the sauces to give it a slighter, sweeter taste. And so I thought to myself, there's really no difference here. If I wanted to pick out a couple jars when I was making spaghetti of the spaghetti sauce and then grab a couple jars of tomatoes. So either way, it is a win-win. So getting all my area cleaned up, and so I can start getting the lids and the rings and everything ready and prepped to go in my canner. All right, what is it?
I don't know what they thought.
Okay, what do you do with it?
I put salmon in it, so
Tell me, what do you do with it? What are you planning to do with this, Adam?
find stuff.
Find stuff. How are you going to find stuff with it?
Then fill it up with sand and shake it in the water and find stuff.
Oh, okay. So kind of like you're going to look for treasures so you got to take it to the water then. Say, what water would you take it to?
After?
You're going to Africa?
No, I will take it to Africa.
Oh,
yes, I do.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I'm talking about around here.
I don't know.
Are you going to take it to the creek? Or to the lake? And test it out, see if it works?
Yeah.
Tell me about it. How would you make it?
I just work down, like, in it there, and then I hammer them, and only with one nail, one, only that much nail.
So how many is that total then?
4 nails.
4 nails, okay.
Then right here, they are made for this stuff.
Oh, okay.
They're made for fishing. I just did there.
Oh, you think it's going to work? What are you hoping to find with it?
I don't know, nice rock or like
Nice rocks?
whatever I find.
Whatever that you find. So it's kind of like a treasure thing, like you're looking for treasures in the sand. Can you show me how it works? Can you shake it? All right, that's kind of a big shaker. Are you sure you're going to be able to do it? Because if you're going to be putting that in the water.
What do I get and shake that?
And you shake the sand through? Oh, all right. Well, where are you going to keep it?
Up stay in my room?
No. I think it would be best if you kept it in the barn.
That'll be far away when we get in the barn.
Maybe. Unless you hide it from him.
They're out every soon.
Oh. I don't think he'll throw it away. All right, well, go ahead and take it outside. Well, where'd you find this one?
Down in the basement.
Okay, well, that I was going to use that for drying my herbs, though.
I do it now.
It is not too late.
The way to use it.
No, it's not. I still have herbs in my garden.
Well, you aren't using it no more. I
Well,
did it.
No, it's still Mommy's.
Oh,
So is that what you were trying to make right there?
Yeah, but I do the same.
Okay, well, I want that for drying my herbs.
They.
Mommy wins.
No, I win.
I win.
I win.
Nope.
I win.
Go to bed.
Get to bed.
Who wins?
Fine, you win.
Adam really enjoys inventing things or putting things together, and he is very much a little entertainer. He likes to be playful with you and try to be, that funny little smart alecky kind of little boy. Oh, but anyways, we are at the end of the week, and I am going to start getting some things prepped for Shabbat. We weren't really sure what we were doing this weekend for Shabbat. I knew that my husband had an outreach that he was going to be going to, that he invited, the family out to. It was supposed to be some type of a worship in the streets. We weren't sure exactly everything that was going on, but I thought I'm still going to prep some food and get some things put together. That way, because like I said, I didn't know the exact time frames and such of where we were going to be and when. And so I am making a casserole right now. I'm just chopping up some potatoes and zucchini. And yes, we are still getting zucchini because my neighbor keeps bringing me more and more zucchini. But the kids enjoy things like zucchini bread and zucchini cake and zucchini muffins. They don't always like it when Mommy puts it in the cooking, but I want to get it used up. I don't want it to go to waste, and I don't think it tastes too bad in an egg casserole. But anyways, we put potatoes and zucchini. We're going to put green peppers, and we're also going to put some onions in here. I do everything with onions. I put onions pretty much in all of my cooking. And then I'll scramble up some eggs. We'll put some eggs on top, and then it'll be all ready to go in the oven in the morning on Saturday morning. Oh, yes, and I also added some leftover cheese that I had as well, just added a little bit of flavor. And I decided that I should start keeping, which I should have been doing this, but I wasn't thinking about it. I need to start keeping my onion scraps again and my veggie scraps again, because during the winter when I have a little bit more time, I like to keep up. Well, I don't like to. I have to keep up on broths because we go through a lot of broths. We make a lot of soups in the winter. So that little bag that I had put the onion scraps in, I will fill that up as full as possible, and then I will make some veggie scrap broth out of that sometime this winter. And now that this is all done, we will get this over into the refrigerator for the evening until we need it the next morning for Shabbat. The next thing I decided to make was I had some Adels. Is that what you call it? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Adels, and they were a chicken, teriyaki, and pineapple meatball. And I was trying to think if I could make a soup with them. And so I decided to do an pepper base, onions, peppers, jalapenos, banana peppers, and I decided to make a soup out of them. And I have some chicken broth that we just did a few months ago that we pulled up from the basement. So right now I'm just getting everything diced up, and I'm going to get it in this pan. And once I get it all diced up and in the pan, I will add about a stick of butter. I like to fry things in butter or coconut oil or, the beef tallow that I make. I ran out of fat and I haven't been back to the butcher shop to get more fat yet to render down some more beef tallow. We go through the stuff pretty quickly with everything that we do. Because I don't just do my sauteing with the beef tallow, I also will pop popcorn with it, and we started using it for our baking, and it does definitely have a different flavor when you bake with it. But we had made a breakfast bread the other week with the beef tallow. We melted it down and added it in, and it really, I could taste it, and I mean, I knew it was in there, but I could taste it. But none of my kids seemed to notice, and they all went back for seconds. So everybody seemed to like it, save myself. I still ate it, but it wasn't my favorite. It's definitely a flavor that I am going to have to adjust to. Anyway, so I got all that in the pan, and then I remembered a friend of mine had given me all these itty bitty little tomatoes from her garden. She said that her and her kids have had a plethora, I would say, of tomatoes this year, and they just didn't want any more. Here are those chicken meatballs. So I'm going to saute the veggies first. I'm not going to show everything, but I sauteed the veggies first and cooked them down, and then I added the meatballs, and then I added the broth, and I just allowed that to cook together. That worship in the park turned out to be a full day event for children and their families. Everything was free. They had these cute little rides. They had bouncy houses. They had a selfie booth. They had, what else did they have? Oh, they had food, hot dogs, hamburgers. And the whole time they had different groups that were singing praise and worship, just live music. And it was such a great time with the family. My husband and Revive Ohio had a tent set up, and they were able to walk around. They were able to pray over people. I was watching even young children getting prayed over and giving their lives to the Lord, and it was a beautiful event. And that is it, you guys, for this week's video. I really hope you enjoyed the time you got to spend with my family. Remember, Colossians 3:17 states, "And whatsoever ye do in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus, giving thanks to God and the Father by him." God bless you all. I pray that you have a wonderful week and that God blesses you in all that you put your hands to. Stay tuned for next week's video. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up, turn on that notification button, and subscribe. Share with your family and friends. Have a good one.